Yo, what's going on guys? Arekkz here, welcome back to another Anthem video, and in this one I want to talk to you guys about an event that is currently happening right now in-game. If you dive into free play and you look up in the sky, there is this rather ominous looking storm that is happening, and it seems to be tied to an event that's happening in the open world. So in this video I want to go over what we currently know about it, and of course just, make you guys aware of it in case you have jumped off the game and you maybe thought you were done for the weekend, but you actually want to dive in and experience this yourself. So if you do enjoy this, if you find it helpful, then a like would be super appreciated. And of course, let me know in the comments down below what you guys think. Now, to begin with, first things first, if you boot up the game now, there's actually the newsfeed that, of course, greets you every time you launch the game. But at the top of that newsfeed is a bulletin for the storm itself. It says, "A strange storm is in the sky. Giants are rumoured to walk the land. Head into free play, freelancer. We need your help beyond the walls." Now, that's all it says. And from what I can tell so far, it seems to be linked to an increased spawn rate for Ash Titans. Now, of course, if you played through the missions in the demo, you would have fought some Ash Titans, the lesser ones. However, with this storm active, it seems that they are quite frequent in the open world. I fought some lesser Ash Titans, but I've also fought an ancient Ash Titan, which is the massive one, as you can see in the gameplay right now. So, to my knowledge, at least based on everything we've seen thus far, this storm seems to be triggering a lot of these kind of giants walking the land. It seems to be forcing them into free play and making it so that we encounter them far more frequently. And of course, if you are still chasing some rare pieces of gear, they do actually drop some decent items. Of course, if you are, running this on hard mode, I got a few rare items to drop. Of course, if you run it on lower difficulties, maybe that won't necessarily be the case. But as it stands right now, this is all that's happening at the moment. Whether this event is going to evolve, whether as the evening goes on, the storm gets, bigger, maybe there's more stuff that happens. But right now, it's in the sky. And as far as I can tell, there are just more Titans in free play. So of course, if you guys want to jump in, you want to fight them yourselves, maybe you haven't had a chance to fight them, maybe you want to go and try and fight an ancient Ash Titan, because, while they behave in a similar way, they are of course, slightly more challenging, so that's definitely a fun fight to get involved in. But what I also want to talk about is what this could mean for the full game, because while yes, admittedly, it might be one of those things that if you heard them teasing this storm, you might have been kind of thinking about all the possibilities of what it could be. Maybe they'll expand the map, maybe they'll add something completely unknown, maybe they'll kind of give us access to another stronghold or something like that in the demo. But it might well be one of those things whereby the anticipation, the kind of build-up might have been slightly bigger than the actual event itself. But looking at what they can do with this is actually quite an exciting concept, because if you think about this in the final game, you can actually have these special fun community events around things like these storms, and if they can then control the spawn rate for enemies, they can control what spawns in the world, you could then link this to something like a big world boss. Take something that you maybe haven't fought before, think of it in a kind of conventional MMO fashion, where you have these world bosses that are super strong and they roam the world. Of course, you kill them, you get cool loot. Imagine if they use that in game, where like storms suddenly come up in the sky, you look up and you're like, whoa, something's happening, and you go around the world and you find this really rare, crazy big boss, and you then defeat it and you get some loot. That could be something they would do, or could do, in the full game. So while in the context of the demo, it might not necessarily be exactly what you were hoping for, in the kind of context of the full game, there are actually some rather exciting possibilities. Also, for those of you guys that maybe missed the recent interviews, there was actually an interview the other day with Mark Dara talking a little bit about Endgame, and he actually mentioned something called Cataclysms. He said, when speaking about strongholds and some of the other Endgame content, he said that we unlock one stronghold during the main mission, and he said that the other strongholds you don't unlock until the end game and you finish the main story. He then went on to explain that there is power gating in a way, in that you have to have unlocked it in order to play it. But he said, we're not looking to force you to be at a certain suit level, at least not yet. And then he went on to speak about Cataclysms by saying that Cataclysms will be more like that. Anyone can go into them, but your degree of success will be more driven by your strategy and your gear. It's a soft gate, so you can experience the content, but they said we don't want to have content that people feel like they can't see because they aren't good enough. He then went on to say that Cataclysms will function similarly to seasonal content found in games like Fortnite, with a global change to the map, or what DICE is doing with Battlefield 5's Tides of War. These will be time-limited, thematic content that gives BioWare the chance to change how the world looks, feels, and reacts to players. Cataclysm events will only last for a limited period of time, and the core experience tied to them will also fit somewhere on the spectrum between a Destiny Strike and a raid. So this could also be more in line with that sort of aspirational content they spoke about in the live streams before, when people have often asked them, does Anthem have raids? And while they kind of aren't using the conventional raid term, they said before that they don't necessarily want to use that term because often when you talk about a raid, you typically associate it with like X number of bosses, certain number of encounters, certain number of players. They want to have content that fills that void, but doesn't necessarily fit within that predetermined framework. Anyway, that being said, when you take a look back at the demo and you think about how the storm works, if you then take this on a grander scale and talk about it as a cataclysm, if you think back to the first reveal event when there was kind of, the javelins flew into this crazy looking storm, it could be one of those things whereby it starts off as a simple, storm in the sky as we've got it right now, and then it might evolve over the course of a week to the point where, at the end of the week, suddenly the entire map has changed. Maybe it's covered in flames, covered in snow, turned into a barren desert. Who knows? But the actual prospect and the way that the world can evolve is actually something really exciting. I always like how they kind of create community events and people can kind of band behind them, so it definitely sounds interesting. Again, lots of stuff we still don't know, but right now, that's what we have to go on. So, for those of you guys that want to dive in, as mentioned, the storm is active right now, in-game. Jump in, get involved, hunt some titans, and of course, on the grander scale, that's a little bit of an update on Cataclysms. Thanks very much for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you want to check out some more awesome stuff from us here at Arekkz Gaming, then you should definitely try to catch TwoSixNine and Paradise Central streaming 6 days a week. You can find a link to the multi-stream in the description box down below. They play a wide range of games, and what's more, we also have the end game store. By watching their streams, you earn currency, and you can redeem that currency on the endgame store for really cool prizes. Those can range from things like games, comics, and figures, all the way up to controllers, capture cards, and even consoles. So definitely drop by and become part of the community. Of course, if you enjoyed this video, then make sure you're subscribed and be sure to click on that little bell icon to turn on notifications so you don't miss our next upload. You can watch more videos by clicking on the options here, but once again, thanks very much for watching, take it easy, catch you next time, peace out.